This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
It's hard to even tell if the church still has a roof.
The Iranians are talking nice, but that's not what counts.
My constituency is the death threat.
It was like pop, pop, and I thought it was balloons, and it was actually gunshots.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
An explosion at a central New York church. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. A terrible scene this morning in the Oneida County, New York town of Boonville, when a suspected propane explosion in the basement of the Abundant Life Fellowship Church decimated the building and critically injured 5 people who were inside. The Boonville Fire Department was investigating a report of a gas odor in the building when the explosion occurred. Jolene Ferris on the scene with WKTV in Utica.
Multiple departments have responded here, making what would appear to be a pretty aggressive aerial attack right now. It's hard to even tell if the church still has a roof.
The 5 victims, all last reported in critical but stable condition, include the church's pastor, Brandon Pitts, Boonville's fire chief, David Pritchard Jr., and 3 other Boonville firefighters. 4 were taken to Upstate Hospital, the other to Wynn Hospital. In an online statement, a church official asking for prayers for all concerned. A setback in the Nancy Guthrie abduction case, now in day 17. They were hoping that DNA that was found in a glove discovered a couple of miles from her Tucson home might lead to a suspect, but that hasn't turned out to be the case. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos sitting down with Fox News today.
The DNA on the glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted for CODIS, and I just heard that CODIS had no hits.
CODIS is the combined DNA index system used by police to compare DNA to that taken from criminals already in the system. Nano says DNA found in Guthrie's home also proved to be a CODIS dead end. Some progress in U.S.-Iran talks depends on who you ask.
Nuclear negotiations in Geneva, Switzerland, aimed at reaching a deal with Iran are finished. A U.S. official telling Fox News progress was made, but there are still a lot of details to discuss.
That's Fox's Trey Yinks. Now, former counterterrorism coordinator Nathan Sales tells Fox it's really too soon to say whether those talks can avert a war.
The Iranians are talking nice, and they're putting out statements about how diplomacy is working, but that's not what counts. What counts here is, will the Iranian regime make the hard choices, the hard concessions that are needed to meet America's national security interests on things like nuclear weapons, support for terrorist proxies, and ballistic missiles.
And as those talks continue, this from Iran's supreme leader through a translator.
They keep saying we have sent warships toward Iran. Okay, of course a warship is a dangerous device, but more dangerous than that is a weapon that can send that warship deep under the sea.
One U.S. Navy carrier group is already within striking distance of Iran. A second one will be soon as well. He was a larger-than-life figure, especially back in the 70s and 80s. America Today remembering Jesse Jackson, who's passed away at age 84. He was a confidant of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and twice unsuccessfully a Democratic presidential candidate.
My constituency is the desperate, the damned, the disinherited, the disrespected, and the despised.
In a statement, Jackson's family remembered him as an icon whose, quote, unwavering belief in justice, equality, and love uplifted millions. We've learned a lot more about yesterday's deadly shooting inside of a Pawtucket, Rhode Island ice rink during a youth hockey game. Police believe the alleged gunman who killed 2 people before turning the gun on himself was targeting his own family. Police say 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also identified as Roberta Esposito and had undergone so-called gender reassignment surgery, was dressed as a woman at the rink when he opened fire as his son was playing in a high school boys hockey tournament. This 16-year-old was in net playing goal when shots rang out the stands.
It was like pop, pop, and I thought it was balloons, but it just kept going, and it was actually gunshots. And after the gunshots, me and my teammates ran right to the locker room, and we just bunkered up. We pressed against the door and just tried to stay safe down in there.
Pawtucket's mayor says a Good Samaritan kept that tragedy from being even worse.
Police were on scene within a minute and a half of that call. A Good Samaritan stepped in and interjected in this scene, and that's probably what led to a swift end of this tragic event.
3 other people were injured and remain in serious condition. A person who ran toward the U.S. Capitol building with a loaded shotgun this afternoon is in custody. U.S. Capitol Police Chief Michael Sullivan says the 18-year-old was also wearing a tactical vest and gloves. The suspect parked his SUV not far from the Capitol before running toward it. Congress isn't in session right now. Well, while our area is enjoying a bit of a thaw after weeks of tough winter weather, residents in California's mountains are bracing for a big-time snowstorm.
Could be a pretty brutal snowstorm, a lot like what we called Snowmageddon. You know, that's what people are saying. It's going to be another Snowmageddon.
Forecasters say as many as 8 feet of snow could fall in the mountains there this week, while lower altitudes face the threat of flash flooding and mudslides. And another medal for Team USA at the Winter Olympics. The Stars and Stripes coming away with silver in speed skating, finishing second to host nation Italy in the men's final. The U.S. fell just shy of the podium in the women's competition. Still to come here on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories and highlights from today's Missions Pulse feature.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast for the night tonight. Mainly cloudy. A little rain and freezing rain will reach western New York and northwest Pennsylvania late at night. Low temperatures around or just over 30 tomorrow. An icy glaze across areas south of Lake Ontario. Farther south, much warmer with rain showers. High temperatures tomorrow from the low 30s near Lake Ontario to the low 50s in western Pennsylvania. On Thursday, cloudy to start. A bit of drizzle or freezing drizzle with light snow in western and central New York. Clouds break for sun. Highs Thursday from the mid-30s to the middle 40s.
Thank you, Kevin. Now checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer making a pit stop in Rochester Monday to announce a new bill aimed at protecting sex abuse and trafficking victims.
Today I'm announcing Virginia's law, new legislation that will end statute of limitation barriers that have kept survivors from justice for far too long. Because justice should never expire.
If passed, the bill would lift the 10-year time limit on abuse claims. It was created in honor of a woman named Virginia, one of Jeffrey Epstein's high-profile accusers. A pedestrian was injured in Rochester, New York this morning when a suspect vehicle being pursued by state troopers ran a red light and struck an RTS bus, which then struck the pedestrian. The extent of that pedestrian's injuries is unknown as a police investigation continues at the crash scene. Who broke in and defaced the Buffalo Bills' new home? We get that story from Family Life's Sarah Harnish.
Yeah, construction on the new stadium in Orchard Park, New York has been paused while police and contractors investigate multiple incidents of graffiti and other vandalism at what's supposed to be secure sites inside the stadium. Authorities haven't commented on the nature of the graffiti, but a contractor statement says a full investigation is underway, which appears similar to another incident less than 2 years ago. It's unclear what impact, if any, this will have on getting the $2.1 billion stadium finished in time for the next NFL season. Sarah Harnish, Family Life News.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Area firefighters never know what they might be dealing with when that alarm goes off. Edinburgh, Pennsylvania firefighters, for example, got called to Edinburgh Lake last night for a fellow named Ernie who'd fallen through the ice. Ernie is a 22-year-old horse.
We had to dig the mud out from underneath him, slide a harness around him, and then we had a rig rope to pull him out. He stood up and then fell back into the ice, so we had to do another secondary rescue.
Captain Jim Dial tells Jet TV a horse rescue was a first for him, but probably not his last ice rescue of the season, saying that Ernie underscores an important point.
At this point, the ice is rapidly deteriorated. You need at least 4 inches of ice, and there's no such thing as safe ice, so definitely check the conditions before going out.
As for Ernie, who had gotten loose from his nearby home, he was given some hay and meds on scene and is expected to make a full recovery. Up next, highlights from today's Mission Pulse feature.
This is Mission Pulse on Family Life. We spotlight ministries making a difference where you live, across the country and around the world. This week, we're spotlighting Jennifer Strickland with Ugandan Orphan Childcare Ministries. You need no introduction. You rescue Ugandan orphans and give them a chance at life. Tell me an orphan story.
We have so many stories, it's hard to choose which one, but one of them stands out very powerfully. One of our kids, his name is Amuna Isaac. This is the kind of story that really still takes my breath away. Isaac was a joyful little boy in northern Uganda, and he was always smiling, always helping, until one day everything changed. He was 7 years old. There were rebel soldiers that came into his village. They were screaming. There was chaos, gunshots. Families were forced to walk for miles at gunpoint. His mother held his hand, and she tried to calm him down, but he was absolutely terrified. There was so much confusion and violence, and Isaac was separated from his parents. He ended up fleeing with his grandmother, and they eventually made it to the southern border of Uganda. His grandmother was really sick, and Isaac, he did what no child should ever have to do. He tried to take care of his grandmother while they were homeless, and then she died. So Isaac was completely alone. He was a true orphan, and in Uganda, this usually means the streets, searching for food, in the trash cans, vulnerable to sickness, exploitation, and a cycle of poverty that just keeps repeating over and over for generations. But Isaac's story changed because our orphanage director, Daniel, found him and took him in. He gave him safety, he gave him family, food, school, and hope. And today, that same boy who once had nothing is in university pursuing an engineering degree. He scored so high that he was the top 5 in the entire nation, that the government awarded him a grant to continue his education. And that's why we do what we do. One rescued child becomes one restored future, and the future can change a whole community.
How do you find a homeless child? Do you have teams with the orphanage that goes out and looks for them?
They're all over the place, unfortunately. The country went through civil war, and Isaac is just one story like all the 73 kids in our orphanage. Yeah, they're not hard to find.
What are your greatest needs for the ministry?
Well, right now, our biggest need is ongoing support for basics like food and school fees, medical care, and continued progress on safe housing for our older kids that are 18 and older that are still in high school.
There's a lot of places that you could serve right here in America. Why has God tugged your heart to Uganda?
Who knows what God chooses? He puts it in your lap and you do the thing. But what really drew my heart is going there for the first time. I saw a little 3-year-old standing on a big pile of trash, and I asked the families around, who's this child? And they said, nobody knows, but he comes and asks for food, and we give him food and let him sleep on the porch. And that was the moment that I said, this is not happening.
And thus an orphanage was born. Why does this matter so much to you?
It matters to me because it breaks cycles of poverty. And isn't that what we all want? It breaks the cycles of poverty and trauma and homelessness. And it replaces them with stability, education, faith, real opportunities to change. And honestly, stories like these, they remind me that we're not doing this alone. We get to see that God is present in the day-to-day and in the miracles. If we can help one child to grow into a healthy, equipped adult who then changes their community, and the impact multiplies for generations.
Thank you, Sarah. You can hear the entire Mission Pulse feature and all of our Family Life original news features at Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
College is an exciting season, but it's also a critical time to build wise money habits. Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. For college students, one of the best money tips is simple: live below your means. That starts with a basic spending plan, even if income is limited. Knowing where your money goes gives you freedom, not restriction. Avoid unnecessary debt whenever possible, especially credit card debt that can follow you long after graduation. Work when you can, save consistently, and don't underestimate the power of small, faithful choices over time. Scripture reminds us that whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. Most importantly, remember that money is a tool, not your source of identity or security. Learning wise money habits now prepares you to steward more later. Get biblical answers to your financial questions in the Faith Fi community. Download Faith Fi, Faith and Finance in your app store or visit faithfi.com.
Thank you, Rob. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report. They come from miles around and happily wait in line to check out this grocery store's beloved checkout man.
You have a great day. You come back and see us, okay?
We'll check it out, too, after Weather with Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast targeting several weather systems in the days ahead. A front will set up shop across our region tomorrow with everything from an icy glaze to some spring-like showers. A second front will bring a mix and some rain Friday night. Then a winter storm could threaten the Northeast with significant wintry precipitation come Sunday and Monday. We'll keep you advised. For the night tonight, mainly cloudy. A little rain and freezing rain will reach western New York and northwest Pennsylvania late at night. Low temperatures around or just over 30 tomorrow. An icy glaze across areas south of Lake Ontario. Farther south, much warmer with rain showers. High temperatures tomorrow from the low 30s near Lake Ontario to the low 50s in western Pennsylvania. On Thursday, cloudy to start, a bit of drizzle or freezing drizzle with light snow in western and central New York. Clouds break for sun. Highs Thursday from the mid-30s to the middle 40s.
Yeah, pretty complicated weather picture there, Kevin. Thank you very much. Finally at 5 at a Publix grocery store in suburban Atlanta. Cashier Michael Mastrangelo is a supervisor's dream come true.
I'm just so happy to be here every day to work.
They will wait 30, 40 minutes just to get Michael's line.
Michael Mastrangelo has intellectual impairment, but it doesn't impair his uncanny gift of making every single customer he meets leave with a smile.
Oh yeah, there we go.
As soon as I walk in the door, I look for him. And if he's here, it just changes everything.
That's why I want you to come see me.
He's my buddy. He's one of the few people I trust.
His supervisor tells WXIA it's all about keeping it real.
Him being so genuine, like he truly cares about every single person that he comes in contact with.
Welcome, have a good day, come back see us. I love this whole community and everybody loves and supports me.
And in a tangible show of that support, his fans helped this longtime Special Olympian raise more than $30,000 for that worthy cause in less than a week, more than several other stores in the chain combined. And that's the world we live in for Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.